The number 10 Notre Dame Fighting Irish host the Navy Midshipmen Saturday night under the lights inside Notre Dame Stadium for 3 keys and a score prediction for this matchup. We got Blue and Gold's Tyler James. Folks, please hit the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to the Blue and Gold YouTube channel for more content. And of course, blueandgold.com is your home for so much more preview coverage. And of course, after the game, we'll have tons of more articles. Key number 1 for you, Tyler, is follow your keys. And I'm sure you're talking about that defense.
Yes, not my keys. You're always supposed to follow my keys, but it's especially important for Notre Dame's defenders to stick with their keys this weekend against Navy. Don't try to be a hero. Stick with your assignment. Don't get distracted by all the moving pieces that Navy will throw at you. Focus on what you're taught to be focused on. Repeat that with intensity and make sure you do that every rep. It sounds easier than it actually is, but Navy's offense can certainly distract you and lull you into a comfort when you can't afford to slip up. And especially with the amount of shotgun that Navy does, the willingness to pass more frequently, there's a lot of more elements to this offense under offensive coordinator Drew Cronick that you have to account for, especially those guys in the secondary.
When you think about a Navy triple option offense, we all know, like we can all see that the fullback dive to the quarterback sprinting out and maybe pitching late. But how has it changed? Like, can you tell us about the change of the Navy offense, like what it's become?
Yeah, it's more of like a wing tee. They do more shotgun stuff. Like they've rushed for more yards out of shotgun than they have from under center this season. So like that's not a stat that you would associate with Navy in any way. And so it's a lot of the similar concepts, right? I mean, an RPO like passing play is a triple option in some ways. Like there's always different kind of ways you can work your way around that, but they'll do a lot of different things. And then throwing the ball, Eli Heidenreich is their guy. He's on track to set all kinds of records for the Navy program in terms of being a receiver. And so they like to get him the ball in different ways, both as a runner and as a receiver. So they have all kinds of weapons. Blake Horvath is what makes it work as the quarterback. His willingness and ability to throw the football, and they keep trying to find new ways to expose defenses. And I got some feedback from Mike James, who runs our Navy side on 3, and he is under the impression that Navy was expecting to throw the ball even more this year, but they've been able to run the ball with more success than they expected because defenses have been so worried about the pass potential of the Navy offense. So I'm curious to see how Notre Dame tries to attack what Navy's trying to do.
Yeah, I feel like several years ago, Navy might throw the ball like 6 or 7 times a game. Like, what should we expect now? Like 15? Or how much more is it?
See, it can be that much. I don't know if that's necessarily the best way to beat Notre Dame, right? Like, because Leonard Morris can still play defense and be a cornerback, and that's probably not a winning matchup for Navy, even with Eli Heidenreich. So I think probably around a dozen maybe would be like the sweet spot for Navy. But they want to be efficient with it, right? Like they want to be able to hit big strikes and be able to do that. The higher the number gets, it's probably them having to play from behind in some ways, because they do like to be able to eat some clock and not allow you to maximize the number of possessions you have.
So it sounds like a little bit more window dressing pre-snap than just like they're lining up the same every single down than like in years past. So key number 2, create negative plays. And more specifically with this, Tyler, like who do you expect to create negative plays? I think Jalen Sneed has been really good against Navy over the years. And we've talked about this on this channel a lot this week. Like it seems like a Jalen Stroman might play pretty well against this defense.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if they find a role for Jalen Stroman. They have a few different safety options that are capable tacklers, right? Like Adon Schuler can do that. Luke Talich can do that. Tay Johnson is a younger player. Usually the more experienced players they feel a little bit more comfortable with. So I'm curious what they do with Tay Johnson. Maybe they sort of have him playing deep in the back end and letting other guys make plays up front. We were asked by a listener on our Third and Gold podcast this week to predict who would lead Notre Dame in tackles for loss, and I picked Jalen Sneed. I think he can do a lot of different things for you, both in terms of a pass rusher and in terms of playing linebacker position and stuff in the run, where I think he can create some havoc in the backfield. So I think there's a number of guys that could do that, right? The defensive tackle is sort of getting in there, and maybe it is a dive and they just stop it for a 1 yard loss. And that's a big play against a Navy team that wants to make sure that it's gaining yards. And especially with the way Notre Dame struggled on 3rd and 4th downs against Boston College this past weekend. They want to limit those short yardage situations against a Navy team that converts 3rd downs at the 4th highest rate in the country at 53.8%. So keep Navy out of 3rd and 4th and short. That's your best bet. I think both Marcus Freeman and Al Washington this week, when they're asked about stopping 3rd and short and 4th and short, it's like, don't let them get in those situations. That's really the best bet. And so Notre Dame's going to have to create some negative plays to get Navy behind the chains and put them in positions where they don't want to be.
All right, key number 3 is letting the athletes shine on offense. Like, stopping Navy's offense is a beast within itself, but if you kind of get into a rhythm, I feel like it can be rather easy to stop. Like, I feel like we've seen that over the years with Notre Dame, like last year, total blowout. But when Notre Dame has the ball, Navy shouldn't really present much of shouldn't present much of a problem. I mean, you wouldn't have thought that about Boston College, but
Right.
Navy defense is probably not very good, right?
Exactly. And I do think Navy will probably employ a similar sort of attack as Boston College did defensively in terms of stacking the box and challenging CJ Carr to beat them. And I think CJ Carr is capable of doing that. Get the ball in the hands of playmakers like Malachi Fields, Jordan Faison, Eli Raridan, Will Pauling, even Jeremiah Love out of the backfield. All of those guys, I think, can have big games against the Navy defense that's going to be hell-bent on stopping the run, but just doesn't have the type of athleticism to keep up with those kinds of guys. I think their best defensive player is nose guard Landon Robinson, so he may have a say in helping stop the run for Navy, but I think you can stretch the field against this Navy defense with relative ease. They give up 253.8 passing yards per game, and I expect this to be an opportunity for CJ Carr to have a big game.
All right, let's take a look at the Vegas lines. Thanks to our friends at BetMGM, the sponsor, our parent company, on 3. So Notre Dame, a 26.5 point favorite. I want to say this game opened at 24.5. So people betting in favor of Notre Dame, the over-under 55.5. And you can see on the left side of the screen, closer to Tyler there, the spread bets, 51% of the public is on Notre Dame, 49% on Navy, and then of course the money line, Navy's getting 3%, pulling the full upset. Yeah, good luck to those bettors. Actually, not good luck, but anyways, 26. it's a lot. My score prediction, Tyler. I said 42-10 last week for Notre Dame, which would have been a cover, and I still got a lot of crap for that. I was like, 42? Mike, what are you talking about? Boston College is going to put up 10? 10 was spot on. The 42, I feel like a lot of predictions were in the 50s or 60s. 42 was even bold. This week at home to bounce back, I think like 38-10. I like Notre Dame to just cover. Give me 38-10 for the Irish to knock off Navy. Tyler James, what say you?
I have Notre Dame 48, Navy 21, so I just have
Wow,
Notre Dame
21.
Notre Dame covering there. I covered earlier this week, like first-year defensive coordinators at Notre Dame struggle a little bit against Navy the first time they do it, and then Marcus Freeman even said, like, "Hey, when I did fine when I was here at Notre Dame, but when I faced them for the first time in Cincinnati, they almost set a school record for rushing yards." So I'm curious to see how Chris Ash fares with that, and if there's some catching up that they have to do sort of in game to adjust to that. So I gave Navy some extra points because of that, but I do think Notre Dame will be able to score with relative ease. And I do think Navy, because of the offense that it plays, has some big play ability to it, maybe more than you would expect from a Navy offense.
Sure. Well, let me say this. For the crowd that thinks that Marcus Freeman secretly took over as defensive coordinator, if Notre Dame beats up on Navy's offense, then maybe it's true. But if Notre Dame's defense struggles, then maybe that's confirmation that Chris Ash is the DC. I'm like 95% joking.
But no credit for Chris Ash, only blame, right?
Right. Exactly. Folks, please hit the thumbs up on this video if I didn't just lose you with that last joke. Subscribe to the channel for more content. Of course, go to blueandgold.com. Full staff predictions are posted on the website, as well as national picks. So yeah, find that all at blueandgold.com, as well as a recruiting preview for the weekend. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.